All right, money, money, and money. Here we go. Let's talk money. Let's talk dollar bills. The almighty dollar. It's exactly what's killing boxing, honestly. But that's for another video. Okay, reports are in, and look, I'm gonna go over kind of just the past. I don't know, maybe top 10 pay-per-views in boxing, and kind of give you my take on what I think is going on, and most of you probably already know. Okay, the reports are out right now. Let's see, Canelo Chavez doing over a million buys. Okay, a million pay-per-view buys. Now they're saying it'll probably be like 1.1, maybe 1.2. So roughly a little over a million. All right, in which that's not bad considering the way things are now with pay-per-view, and there's just so many other options out there. I mean, you have movie theaters showing them, streaming. You can go to Facebook now and watch pay-per-views. I mean, there's just so many ways out there to watch them now. And not only that, these big $70 pay-per-views are on YouTube an hour later. Like the fight ends at say 11 o'clock at night, at midnight they're on YouTube. So I don't know, it just seems like there's a lot of reasons, but what I don't like about it is, you have these greedy promoters basically putting on these fights like Canelo Chavez, and it's another letdown. I mean, just like Mayweather Pacquiao, another letdown. But and it turns people away, and I'll show you here in a minute the numbers. Okay, so let me just kind of go down the list real quick. So, like I said, Canelo Chavez, about a million. Okay, you could add another 100,000 on there, probably. I think by the end of it, it'll be like 1.1. Canelo Cotto. Now, if you guys remember, Canelo Cotto, 900,000 pay-per-view buys. Okay, and just to throw a few other numbers out there. Mayweather Berto, about 500,000. Pacquiao Vargas, 300,000. I don't know, and I hear a lot of people saying, oh, it's great for boxing, a million pay-per-view buys. Well, no, that's a million people that are pissed off now. You know what I mean? That's a million people that are gonna be turned away from it again. It goes. I mean, you go all the way back to look at Mayweather Pacquiao, 4.4 million pay-per-view buys. Okay, nearly half, or let's see, 4.5 billion pay-per-view buy or million pay-per-view buys. And now look at this number, 1 million. Well, what happened, right? I mean, that's just a dramatic drop, okay? But yeah, I mean, and I think ever since the whole Maypac thing, that just ruined pay-per-view. That's my honest opinion, and the numbers really show. So, I'm not celebrating, this number. I think it's terrible because I think it was a terrible fight, and I really think it's probably going to end up hurting Canelo Golovkin when they fight in September. I'm estimating on a low side 900,000, on a high side 1.1. I think it'll basically mirror the Chavez fight, maybe a little less. That's my opinion. Because I mean, people aren't going to be willing to shell out that kind of money again. Especially when you have guys on the undercard, stealing the show. When you have guys like the Lucas Matisse, and the David Lemieux fight. Now, the Joseph Diaz fight, that was kind of a lackluster fight. I expected a lot more out of Diaz, but but on the two before Canelo Chavez, you had some pretty good fights there. So all the blood and the drama and everything, not bad. So, but yeah, I mean, that's my opinion. I really think these big mega fights are killing boxing. So now, look, who did this? Who made this? Okay, look, you got Canelo. Damn, that's cold, man. That's savage. You got Canelo and his ride or die chick. Ride or die. What the fuck? Oh my god, boxing fans are brutal. Look, you got Gennady Golovkin back here just over the right ear of Canelo. I mean, they had to throw that in too. Rider, I mean, seriously, man. Boxing social media is a brutal place, but okay. Look, let me just throw some numbers out here. Okay, Mayweather Mosley 2011. That fight generated $75 million. Okay, did a little over a million pay-per-view buys. Okay, and I'm going to show you the decrease here. All right, we can go to say Tyson Holyfield 1.5. that fight generated $78 million. Okay, Holyfield Foreman, $80 million. Okay, 1.4 million pay-per-view buys. Okay, because I hear a lot of people saying, oh, well, no one's broke a million, or it's been done very few times, and that's complete bullshit. Okay, Tyson Holyfield, let's see, 1.6, 1.9 million pay-per-view. I mean, when Tyson bit Holyfield's ear off, that hit nearly that. Well, according to some reports, it hit nearly 2 million pay-per-view buys, but on the low side, 1.6 million pay-per-view buys. Okay, and you're not here. Let me get back to a picture here. We'll get to those numbers in a minute. Lennox Lewis versus Tyson, 1.2 million. Over $100 million generated in that fight. Revenue. Oscar De La Hoya Mayweather, that was at light middleweight. That one did 2.4 million pay-per-view buys. Mayweather Canelo did I believe, 2 million buys, right at 2 million, just shy of 2 million buys. Okay, so you look at, like I said, look at that Mayweather Canelo fight. Okay, now then we have Mayweather Pacquiao, 4.4 million in pay-per-view buys, and it generated about 400 million. Canelo Cotto, not like I mentioned earlier, 900,000. Get off of there. So I'm just like, I want to throw out a few numbers here to show you guys. I mean, I just went over a bunch of them, but, here we go. Tyson Peter McNeely, 1.5. Tyson Holyfield, 1.59. Evander Holyfield Foreman, 1.4. Oscar De La Hoya Trinidad, 1.4. That was a great fight. Tyson Bruno, 1.3, roughly 1.37. Pacquiao Cotto, 1.2, so I kind of think that's where maybe the Chavez Canelo fight is going to end up. So Pacquiao De La Hoya, 1.2. Mayweather Victor Ortiz, 1.2. Pacquiao Mosley, 1.3. So I love that fight. That's one of my favorite Pacquiao fights, by the way. Holyfield Foreman, 1.4. Let's see, De La Hoya Trinidad, we just went over that, 1.4. Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez, the third fight, 1.4. I'd like to know what the fourth one was with the knockout. But you see, so all these big, huge mega bouts, mega fights, whatever you want to call them, are around 1.2, 1.4, okay? And then you got Mayweather Pacquiao at 4.4, which, again, I really think it does boxing a disservice. So I'm not celebrating these numbers like, oh, yay, great for boxing. So let me tell you my real life experience, okay? So the other day, I walk into it's like a little gear shop here in Houston. I was getting some new gloves, and everybody in there was talking about how disappointed that they were in the Chavez Canelo fight. I mean, everybody was talking about it. So of course I got in on the conversation, and I can't make this up. So I go from there over to a roofing company. I had to pick something up, and these two guys were talking in Spanish, and I heard the name Canelo Chavez. So I said, "Hey, are y'all talking about the Canelo Chavez fight?" He's like, "Yeah." So everybody in the whole shop there started complaining about it, just how disappointed they are. Then later on that night, we went to go pick up a pizza. Same thing. There was this Mexican chick in there talking to some other dude about the fight. So it's like everywhere I go, people are talking about it, because you guys have to realize in Houston, man, boxing is big. It's like a part of our culture here. We love our boxing. Boxing and football are huge in Houston. So, and then of course when I went to my gym, I took a friend of mine, Nick. Shout out, Nick, if you're listening. You did a great job, by the way. I hope he busted his hands up, but I hope your hands are okay. But he was with me at the gym there, and again, everyone I talked to, they were all talking about how incredibly disappointed they are in the Canelo Chavez fight. So, I don't. The way I see it is, you have 1 million people, and at least half of those people will probably never order a pay-per-view fight again. Because look, the thing is, and I've looked this up. if you look at the ratio of, how many like hardcore boxing fans order pay-per-view and how many casual fans, it's a huge tilt. I mean, it's like 80-20, like 80% casuals and or maybe like your weekend warriors, and then 20% boxing heads like we are. So, we need these people. We need to put on good fights, and you know and look, I mean, just go back and look. I mean, I just went over everything with you. I mean, even like the Mayweather Canelo fight, that was a good one. Okay, I liked it. I mean, uh, I thought that was probably Mayweather's best, performance in the last, 5-6 years or whatever. Mayweather Pacquiao, a complete dud, just bombed. I mean, Mayweather Cotto, pretty good fight, 1.5 million. So. And go way back, I guess a little further back. Oscar De La Hoya Mayweather, 2.4 million by pay-per-view buys. That fight generated 136 million dollars, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, you just look at these big pay-per-view events, and I don't know, like the last three of them probably. Say Canelo Mayweather, Canelo Cotto. And a lot of them have been Canelo or Mayweather Pacquiao, and really we haven't had too many great fights, not many memorable fights. I mean, I don't even know the bet. Like I said, the best one would probably be Mayweather Canelo. Like shit, I don't know. They all kind of sucked, really, So yeah, but now getting into the Golovkin Canelo fight, I mean, I don't know. It kind of. I don't know, almost sets them up for failure, right? I mean, because are these people, and like out of these 1 million people, if you could do a survey and say, hey, you ordered the last one, do you think you'll order, Gennady Golovkin Canelo? And they're probably going to tell you, hell no, I'm not. I was really disappointed. I want my money back. Even Stephen A. Smith was all over ESPN saying he wanted a refund. He wanted his money back. So and really, can you blame Canelo? I mean, he did what he had to do. The only thing I can say about that is, when you have, basically a human punching bag in front of you, then why can't you get him out of there? It just. But then, one thing I want to throw in here, the Anthony Joshua Klitschko. Now that did like 1.5 million, but that was like overseas, Sky Sports and all that. So that was a great fight. So I guess if you kind of look at it like a timeline. So you take maybe, the Canelo Mayweather fight. It was okay. It was good. I liked it. And then you go to the Pacquiao Mayweather, complete dud, bomb, right? And then you jump into maybe like the Canelo Chavez, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I haven't found anyone that just truly enjoyed the fight and felt good about the money they spent. Everyone I talked to, they were like, man, I wish I didn't order that fight. Like, I'm never going to buy another pay-per-view. It's the same thing these people said after Mayweather Pacquiao. So, I don't know. Where do we go from here? Like I said, I think if that would have been a good fight, then I think the Canelo Golovkin would have hit, maybe 1.5 million, 1.5. But like I said, right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Golovkin did like 900, did basically what like a Cotto Canelo did, like around 900,000. So anyway, I just wanted to go over these numbers with you guys and, kind of throw in a few from boxing history there, like the old Tyson fight. Tyson, he was the king of pay-per-view back in the day, and then it was kind of a tug of war between Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather, and now even Pacquiao is still doing good with his pay-per-views. Now this Jeff Horn Pacquiao, although the last I heard, that's going to be on regular HBO, and they would be smart to do that because no one's going to order that fight. I mean, that's just like, that's an insult. I mean, to me, that's an insult to the boxing community to ask them to shell out that kind of, any kind of money other than their monthly cable bill, to a Pacquiao Jeff Horn fight. So hopefully they stick to what they said, what Bob Arum said, and it's on regular HBO. Okay, so let's hope. But so yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. When the new numbers come out, I'm not gonna make a video about it because it's really not gonna matter. It's gonna be 100,000 one way or the other. So I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, do you think that this fight did anything good for boxing, and do you think it's gonna hurt? A Canelo Golovkin fight? Do you think it's gonna just hurt their numbers. I mean, I do personally, because I mean, like I said, just look in history. We just went over it, and you can see if you have a graph. I mean, you can see it's just like going downhill and downhill and downhill. So. Yeah, I mean, I really think it will. And then a lot of people are, and let me end on this. A lot of people are calling the Canelo Chavez fight like basically what they call it a 90-minute infomercial, a 90-minute commercial for a Golovkin Canelo fight, and it kind of felt like that, like an upsell. Like Oscar De La Hoya. He's kind of like a salesman, right? Or he is a salesman, and it's kind of like when they sell you a product and you don't like it, but then they want to upsell you to something better. Like, oh, wait a minute, you didn't like Canelo Khan. Well, we got Canelo Chavez going, going once, going twice. Like this cheesy salesman shit. And oh, you don't like that? Well, up next we got Gennady Golovkin Canelo. For only $59.99. So it just seems like that's what he's doing. He's trying to basically upsell us a better fight. Like, oh, sorry you wasted your money. The past two fights, but we got something better coming. That's what it feels like to me. Like just a cheesy door-to-door salesman tactic. So anyway, guys, leave your comment below. What do you think?